Listen to this episode if you are running Black Friday promotions in your product-based business and you want to make sure that you capitalize on them. Black Friday is the Super Bowl of product-based businesses. People prep all year for what their Black Friday special is going to be. Now, I know when this episode is coming out, it's already going to be November. So I hope that you have some details for your promotion already planned out, if not the entire thing. But this episode is going to be the details often forgotten, some last minute tweaks to make sure that you have, and a pretty good playbook of how to master your Black Friday promotions this year in 2025. We're going to talk about the 5 different major buckets that we want to make sure that you are double checking before Black Friday gets here. Hopefully by the end of this episode, you're feeling really solid. You have a good kind of last minute action plan in how to kind of just fine tune your current plan. This episode is going to be perfect for anybody, whether you have a good plan already, whether you haven't started planning, which if you haven't, you absolutely need to, or if you are just really trying to optimize those sales and you want to make sure that you have all of the small little details. This is really going to point out those often details that are forgotten. I have helped hundreds of business owners kind of do their Black Friday special, and these are the things that I often see make a big difference. They pack a punch, yet they are often forgotten. If you are new here, I just want to take 10 quick seconds to say hello before we dive in to all of the nitty gritty. My name is Madison Page. I'm the host of the Small Business Growth Podcast. I am a business growth specialist, and I help small businesses turn into brands so you can build that household legacy name that you are always looking to build. Black Friday really is the Super Bowl of the year for product-based businesses. It's when every company, pretty much 95% of companies, have some sort of sales or an event going on in order to bring in some of those holiday sales. Many find it to be some of the best prices of the year. Many people will honestly wait for some big items for Black Friday. And so we want to make sure that your marketing, your sales, your systems, your behind the scenes, everything is really in tip-top shape to make sure that you optimize the sales that you have customers that are really happy, and that you are also very prepped for it, because there are so many people shopping, many things can happen. Just a little disclaimer, when I'm talking about Black Friday, I'm really talking about the weekend. So this really starts Black Friday morning all the way through Cyber Monday weekend. It's kind of all wrapped into one. You know, people are already going to be saying November 1st Black Friday sale kind of through the month. But what we're talking about today is basically having one major promo, having this big promo. How do we really go about doing it from there? First, I want to talk a little bit about data. $43.7 billion are estimated in sales for this Cyber Monday weekend, or the Cyber Weekend, for direct-to-consumer online sales, meaning from e-commerce. That is only 17% of the total sales of the holiday season, which is said from November 1st through Christmas. So understanding, yes, 17% of the entire holiday season sales are happening within these 5 days, but also make that known that there are a lot of other opportunities throughout the holiday season, that Black Friday alone is not what you just need to focus on. It really is those 6 to 8 weeks from November 1st all the way through is kind of that solid first holiday season. So yes, it's really important. Yes, nearly, 1/5 of the sales for the whole holiday season happen in just 5 days, but also realize that there are a lot of different areas and different times that people are still purchasing. So I want to talk about the playbook. First, we're going to do some quick kind of check-ins and some common myths. Then we're going to do the 6 major buckets of often forgotten details. And then we're going to dive into what does this mean for you, what I recommend for you, and what do I recommend for the rest of the holiday season. And of course, we always end with some action items. This is definitely going to be an episode that you want to stick to the end, maybe have a notes app out, or at least a to-do list of things that you could still check in throughout the holiday season. This would also be a great episode to share with a friend that is prepping for their holidays as a good kind of complete strategy playbook to make sure everybody is optimized and ready to go. So some quick kind of check-ins and common myths that I hear with the holiday season that you may not have also thought about. For my clients, this is just one of the promotions that we're running. Many times I ask people in October, what are your plans for the holiday season? And their answer is, I'm going to do site-wide 20% off for Black Friday, and that's it. That's all that they say. That's all that they're planning. However, like I just said, only 17% of the sales are actually done that weekend. So we do have to have more promos, or at least plans for other things throughout the holiday season. My clients have really prepped their audience for the last few weeks to think of them with holiday buying as well. So understanding, I know I've made a lot of episodes about this, even though the holiday season starts November 1st, October, people are already kind of creating their list. Today, as I'm recording this, it's October 28th. And my husband literally said this morning, I've been curating my Christmas list for you. I already have a good amount of things that I'm excited to buy. He might have that list already purchased. He's thinking about it. However, he hasn't actually bought it yet. He's waiting for these next couple of months. So realizing in your marketing, starting in October, we want to start really prepping our audience to get your products on their list. That's what my clients have been doing. If you didn't do that this year, that's okay. There's still hope for you, I promise. But kind of for next year, we want to start thinking about that. Next one is we want Black Friday to really be your simplest of your holiday promotions. Black Friday has the noisiest weekend of the year. Literally, the most amount of people have a sale in the same weekend. You know, it's Black Friday. 95% of companies have some sort of sale or promotion going on. And so when people are shopping, we're looking for ease. We're looking for how can we really make sure that they can really simply understand it, that it's exactly what they're wanting, that it's kind of like front and center and easy. If you are going to do some sort of site-wide sale throughout your holiday promos, I would recommend doing it for Black Friday, but that doesn't mean that having 20% off that weekend only is enough for the entire holiday season is really what I mean there, just to clarify. Also, understanding that you do not need to have a crazy discount. There are other promotions. When a lot of times when I say, hey, do multiple promotions, people are like, I don't want to discount that many times. When I say promos, that doesn't just mean you have to discount. You also can do, spend $100 and get a $25 gift card. You also can do a free gift. You also can add value. You also could do free shipping or free gift wrapping, or hey, when you spend X amount of dollars, you'll get this for free. All of those things are still promotions and still incentives to make people buy. That doesn't necessarily mean you have to do a 20, 30, 40, for gosh sakes, 70% off site-wide sale in order to get people to buy at all, right? Next thing is do not do the same thing every year. This is a really big thing that we want to make sure that you're not doing. Why? Is because if everybody knows year after year after year that you do a 50% off sale on Black Friday only, some people will wait for Black Friday to purchase from you for the entire year. What you're doing is you're basically training your audience that that's the best time of year to purchase from you. And so if you have a product that people don't need to buy all the time, people might just stock up on Black Friday and never actually purchase. So we do want to mix that around and make sure it's okay for it to be your biggest promo of the year, but it doesn't need to be the exact same thing. And it doesn't need to be a 50% off sale. Last but not least, in this little quick fire check-ins and common myths, is I want to say is you need to have systems in place to retain these customers. This is not just get the transaction for the holiday season. You have such an opportunity to actually use the holiday season to amplify your sales throughout all of 2026. You have such an opportunity to use this as a major kind of top of funnel season where people are looking for new businesses, they're looking for specific products. Then what this means is we want to have systems in place to properly nurture them, to properly also nurture them coming in January. After the holiday season, I've done this. I did this in my first business, my first product-based business, is I used the holiday season to actually amplify my sales the rest of the year because I knew so many people were searching for a business, searching for certain products, but we have to allow for other systems in place to allow for that momentum to build. So that might be email lists, that might be, what do you need in place, having really solid customer journey and ensuring that we can have not only this transaction, but also retention in this process. So those are kind of some quick fire things that I think often people miss or think, or, the mistakes that they make. Now we're going to talk about the 6 buckets of often forgotten details of the holiday season, or I guess for Black Friday in general. This would be a really good list of the 6 different buckets that I want you to double check, that I want you to audit, and that I want you to maybe add some of these details if you don't have them yet in order for you to optimize the holiday season. First things first is we're talking about customer experience. Customer experience tweaks that people often forget. We have 4 things on this list. What we really want to talk about here is, again, like I was just saying, customer experience is really important for retention. If someone works with you and they just kind of feel like they were left in the dust and they buy from you during the holidays and then they never hear from you again, or maybe they didn't love whatever, if it's the packaging or your website or your policies, your returns, you might lose them as a full-time customer. Instead, if we really optimize those things now, what that actually means is they could turn into a loyal buyer or a ride or die community member. So first things first is we want to make sure that your website website is definitely mobile optimized. I know that that is like kind of first grade knowledge at this point, but it might not be for some of you, is understanding that mobile optimization, many people are shopping on their phones at Great Aunt Sally's house on Black Friday. And so we need to make sure that not everybody is doing things on their phone. We want to make sure that your website really is optimized for the easiest purchasing decisions. We want to make sure that your website is optimized to make ease of purchase. Maybe in your menu bar, having a shop by section, shop by maybe gift receiver, and have it be boy, have it be girl, have it be, aunts, have it be mom, whatever that might be. Your website needs to be optimized for the types of shoppers that you're having. Remembering that this time of year brings a totally different type of shopper because they're not buying for them, they're buying for other people. So we need to make sure that your website is optimized with the actual kind of customer experience on your website in mind. Maybe that means making some changes to your menu bar. Maybe that means adding something new that says, who are you shopping for? Boy, girl, niece, nephew, whatever, something like that. Who are you shopping for on your homepage to really make that process very easy on people. Again, this is the noisiest day of the year. Many people have many things on their list that they're trying to buy. If you confuse them, you will lose them. And so we have to make sure that the decision fatigue is not too strong. We have to make sure that the buying process is very easy. And how can we really move people through? Next is the clear policies on your website. Something that we hear a lot of is that people buy and there's a 30-day return policy. Thanksgiving is on the 28th of November, which means the people that receive that only have 3 days to return that item. So maybe we want to extend your return policy. Starting November 1st, Amazon return policy goes to 90 days. That's something that people kind of expect. Just because small businesses are not Amazon doesn't mean that that's not what the consumer kind of expects at this point. So having clear policies on your website, the returns, the shipping, the cutoff days as well to make it in time for Christmas or for key days, shipping period, how many days to expect, maybe even adding a little bit of a buffer on there. I also know a lot of our international people with some of the tariff things going on in the US right now, that the borders are holding things for a little bit longer. We have to make sure that we have very clear days that they know that they're still going to get it in time for Christmas. How long is it going to be until it's shipped, as well as what is the return policy for the people that they are gifting it to. Next one is a big piece of the customer experience is that you will have people checking out your website and abandoning your cart. Abandoned cart rates are really high during the holidays. So what that means is we want to make sure that you have your abandoned cart funnels very optimized, whether it's optimized or just actually put in place deeper than just the template abandoned cart email. We want to make sure that your abandoned cart flow is out there. We want to make sure that it's working, maybe test it, adding some urgency, talking about shipping deadlines for the holidays. It's okay to make some messaging adjustments this time of year because people are shopping for different reasons. So maybe adjusting some of that abandoned cart flows to say, hey, if you want to make it in time for the holidays, make sure that you purchase by XX day. Last but not least is maybe having some customer experience, having some FAQ posts going out on your social media, really answering that customer support. What questions might people have? Maybe adding an FAQ section on your website, maybe on your Instagram, opening the doors maybe a couple of days early for a Q&A section on your Instagram stories, that if people have a question, have that there. Another thing that I've had a lot of my clients doing is adding a chat feature onto their website. Even if you don't want to do that all the time, through the holidays might be a good time to do it because people will be shopping. And if they have questions, because again, people that are shopping your website might not actually be your ideal customer because they're shopping for somebody else. If I'm shopping for my husband, who's an avid skier, if I'm going to try to buy him a set of skis, I have no idea what to buy, right? And so I would want to chat with somebody, and that would be really great for that customer experience. The better the customer experience, the more likely they are to come back. So we really want to make sure that we're optimizing that. Hey, I'm jumping in here for 30 quick seconds for those of you listening and thinking, all right, but how do I actually apply this to my business? Every week here, I share strategies, case studies, growth mistakes to avoid, but your business growth is nuanced. So your business support has to be nuanced as well. That's why all of my support includes me inside of your business, your ideas, your launches, your content, perfecting what you're already building and uncovering your hidden opportunities to scale. This isn't a cookie cutter course. It's a high level personalized support system to help you optimize your brand, your strategy, and every single person your business touches. If you want my eyes and my brain on your branding, your sales, your marketing, and your overall growth plan, click the link in the show notes to apply. Let's see what we can build together. Next is we're talking about the operational details. That's kind of the second bucket, is your operations. Not only are we trying to optimize this from a marketing and a sales perspective, we want to optimize this for overall, operational efficiency as well. So a couple of things we want to look at is your inventory. Sometimes you might want to double check your inventory. Oftentimes I had a lot of clients that their inventory on their website was wrong. And when their sales started to go up, they started to sell product that they didn't actually have. So maybe doing a last minute inventory check. Packaging and shipping supplies, making sure that you do have enough supplies to really fulfill these orders very quickly. This is a time of year that it's better to have more inventory and more supplies of everything than a normal time of year, just because you will use them. And again, with packaging and shipping, whether it's tape, labels, whatever, inserts, different printouts, whatever that might be, oftentimes people can either run out of them. You might as well just order them in bulk and have a bunch of them through the holidays. The next one is the fulfillment plan. If I were to 5x your sales in these next 6 to 8 weeks, which can be very possible with the proper strategies, if we were to 5x your sales, do you have the fulfillment people in the behind the scenes to fill those packages, to fill those orders? If you yourself would not be able to 5x your sales and not run yourself ragged, having to stay up until 4 a.m., it might be time to hire somebody just part-time during this time of year just to fulfill some orders. Maybe they come over from, 7 to 9 p.m., even if it's a friend or it's just somebody locally there to help you with that fulfillment, because something that's really important this time of year is getting these orders out quickly and efficiently, because people care. One of my aunts and uncles, they actually do their Christmas a week early because, all their kids are married, they have separate families. And so they allow their kids to do their Christmas with their in-laws, and they do theirs a week ahead of time. So some people's deadlines are different than the average, December 25th deadline. So we want to make sure that people know and get that fulfillment happening really quickly. So whether you have to prep your staff, maybe get a contractor, even start batching, packing some things if you have consistent, bundles, whatever that is, just wanting to prep the overall fulfillment side. Last but not least is researching your shipping deadlines. I know I talked about this on optimizing your website with having some clear policies, but if you don't know what day people have to order in order to guarantee it for Christmas, that is something we definitely want to have. I would communicate that clearly. I would have that in your policies, have banners, having emails, things like that. And I also would have a countdown plan in your overall promotional calendar, order by X amount a day to arrive by Christmas. Because, this year, Thanksgiving, as always, is like late into the month, but sometimes, we only have 4 weeks from Thanksgiving to actually get something there. So again, if people are ordering from across the country, whether you have a lead time, maybe it's something custom, people have to know that they're going to be able to guarantee it by Christmas. Next on the list is marketing details beyond the discounts. Marketing is one of course, as always, the most important pieces of this. You hopefully have a social media community. You hopefully have an email list. You hopefully have some channels that we can go out there. Some things that we really want to look at is first, I know this is coming out in November, but we really want to warm up your audience, give them teasers, maybe give them a gift guide, having some countdowns. Don't just drop your Black Friday sale on Black Friday. Start prepping them, whether you're going to start on the Monday before Black Friday, you're starting on Black Friday. People need a couple of days to know so they can prep, especially for Black Friday. Again, it's a busy day for a lot of people. It's very noisy. They have a list of people they want to shop for. You want to be on that list. You don't want them to have to just be like searching through social media. We really want to warm them up, make sure that they know, like if they are gifting for somebody, what on your list in your inventory would be really good for those people. We really want to plant the seed that you're an awesome gift really early on in the holiday season. Next is highlighting bundles and upsells. We're really trying to maximize that average order value, and many people love gift bundles for this time of year, whether or not they're buying, 5 lip glosses for the price of 4 or whatever. That might be a nice add-on gift for somebody. That also might be a nice, entire gift for somebody. People buy for different reasons. And so having some sort of bundles and upsells, even just talking about what products are really nice bundled together, what you are gifting for different people is going to be really important in your marketing. The next one is your post-purchase email flow here. In the marketing, we really want to look at when people do purchase from you, are they getting the proper information in their customer journey that they know how to use it and how to gift it. So, again, right now, there's a lot of different types of customers that are buying from you. And this is a really great opportunity to get them to stick with you in your community, even if they might not have purchased for themselves. You are basically marketing to 2 people this time of year. You're marketing to yes, the gift buyers, but also the gift receiver. And so the gift buyer, we want to make sure that they are going to your socials and, they're getting on your email list, even having like a nice little thank you note, having the details or like the gift wrapping, having a really nice customer experience with you, and you can continue to nurture them. But is there anything else that we can put in the packaging that would be really nice for them to gift to the gift receiver as well? So they know who the brand is, what you're all about, where they can follow you and where they can become a loyal customer as well. The next one is looking if anything in your email list that we really want to segment, that we want to maybe add separate segments inside of the email list to send certain things to. So maybe looking at your buyer behavior within your email list and saying, ooh, these people oftentimes buy from us during the holidays. Maybe let's send them a special email list, or maybe giving your audience in your email list early access. Use this as a time to get people onto your email list. Really just thinking about the marketing details here as well. Something that I do want to say last but not least in the marketing section is on Black Friday. I want you to be very on it throughout this whole weekend. This is not a weekend to go silent in your marketing. People are searching for businesses on social media to buy from. And so what we have to do is you want to be very active, asking people questions, saying what your discount is over and over again. Because everything is noisier, you have to be louder in order to be heard. So make sure that you don't go radio silent, scheduling out emails, maybe having some Instagram stories, getting people's questions and making sure that you're there on your DMs. Because I don't know about you, but on Black Friday, when I buy all of the things that are on my list, I'm going through social media being like, is there any other sale that I missed, to make sure that I, am optimizing the holiday season, that I'm getting the sales that I really want. Looking at your marketing, is there anything that we can prep, whether that be scheduling out emails, maybe that be prepping a new banner for your website to change it on the morning of, whatever that really looks like. The marketing details that matter is that you have to be louder. There are so many more people selling. There is so much ad spend. There is so many, everybody is trying to yell at you. You also have to be yelling in order to be heard. Next is tech side of things that people often forget. Two major things here is that I want you to test your discount codes ahead of time. Make sure that everything's working, because there's nothing worse than saying, 20% off when you use the code HO on Black Friday. And then all of a sudden you're getting all of these emails, or maybe just nobody's buying. And then you realize that your promo code didn't really work. Make sure you test those things. The other side on the tech that I really want to talk about is that 83% of holiday purchases last year in 2024 were purchased on some sort of buy now, pay later system, whether that be a credit card, whether that be like a Klarna, whether that be, any of those kind of softwares that you can add into your website. What that tells me is that people wanted to purchase things obviously for the holidays, but they might not have had the money or the funds or the capital, whatever, to spend it all at that time. They're putting a lot of it on credit cards or something that they can pay later on. So if you don't have that opportunity on your website, maybe adding some of those Klarna or, buy now, pay later systems onto your website, and that would be a really good opportunity, because this year the consumer confidence has been lower than last year. So I'm anticipating that number, which is already a very staggering number. 83% of purchases for the holiday season were purchased on either a credit card or a buy now, pay later system. So if you don't have that yet, that's a good detail that we want to really look at. We have two more left onto this list of our 6 major buckets. One is our post Black Friday, Cyber Monday momentum. Something that I really want you to think about is don't ghost your customers after Black Friday. Black Friday is not the end of the holiday season. It is not the only weekend of the holiday season that matters. Follow up with shipping updates, surprise bonuses, thank you emails, making sure that you have that post-purchase email flow really solid to bring people through this so you can retain these customers. So if people didn't buy from you, they feel a little bit of FOMO. We're really wanting to make sure that these customers, that did purchase from you, feel very nurtured and that they are in the know of what's going on. And maybe the people that didn't are consistently getting information that people are purchasing from you, because it's not the end of the holiday season. It doesn't mean that if you didn't get the sales that weekend that people are done purchasing. Again, remember that 17% number. Next one is that the holidays gifting messaging is really important. A lot of times people just don't even adjust their marketing much. Some people do. But it's okay to fully say this would be a really good gift. It's okay to say this is the product that I would gift to this type of person. It's okay for you to say, if I were you and I had these people on my list, this is what I would gift them. Having that gifting messaging within, even after Black Friday, is really important. again, having that retention mindset. Reminder that Black Friday, Cyber Monday isn't just about sales. It's lead generation for 2026. It's really making sure that people feel very held in that overall buying process. And again, remembering that this is not the end of the holiday season. I already kind of alluded to this, but post Black Friday, I would recommend doing kind of like a countdown to guarantee by Christmas kind of promo, but that like scarcity is going to bring in some sales anyway. So again, remembering that we're not done after Cyber Monday. Last but not least, we're going to talk about you as the founder. The holidays can be a very busy time of year. I hope that these first 5 things have not filled your mind with already getting some anxiety and being like, shoot, I haven't done a lot of these things, but I want you to really have burnout on the top of your mind. Yes, this is a short period of time. Yes, you have 6 to 8 weeks to maximize these sales, but if there's anything that you can do to prep, whether this be prepping your marketing calendar, the actual media, taking the videos, even hiring somebody to take photos and videos when you don't have time, or maybe you want to prep by making casseroles and put it in the freezer, or maybe, restocking on anything that you need in your house. I have some clients this time of year that they hire a maid for these 6 to 8 weeks. So they have like a house cleaner, I guess is probably a more PC term for it in 2026, a house cleaner or somebody to help with laundry or meals or whatever that might be for them, because this is a very busy time of year. I don't want you to burn out. I want you to enjoy your holiday season. I want you to also celebrate your small wins during the holiday season, your small or big wins. It's not just revenue, but it's engagement, it's traffic, it's email growth, remembering where you were last holiday season and where you are this holiday season, and celebrating all of that hard work that you did throughout the year. This is something that I say often, is that your holiday season is kind of like the test to your last 10 months of hard work. The first 10 months of hard work throughout the year, oftentimes for us consumer brands, these last 2 months of the year is kind of the payoff and the test to see what's broken, to see what worked, and to see the growth that you had throughout the year. And it's really, really wonderful. Something that I just want to remind you is that your self-worth as a person, your love that you deserve, the care that you deserve does not change based on how many sales you have. A slower sales day doesn't define you, doesn't define your business, and doesn't define all of the work that you did throughout the year. We have to, as business owners, detach. It's much easier said than done. We have to detach our self-worth from what's actually happening in our business. This time is not just about income. It's about setting the scene for 2026. It's about identifying maybe the gaps that you still have, maybe identifying the things that you really want to work on, and also acting as like a good test for your fulfillment, for your marketing, for the growth that you've been doing. And if you look back, from last year and you're like, shoot, I really didn't grow that much year over year, that means that starting January 1, we really want to hit the ground running with what do we need to change, and actually to change and add some of these growth levers in. I want to remind you that Black Friday, only 17% of total holiday sales spending happens that time of year. So it's not the only weekend. And honestly, this is another stat that actually I think is really important for smaller businesses, is to understand that 80% of people want to shop with smaller businesses throughout the holiday season, but only 22% of them usually do that this cyber weekend, meaning people utilize this cyber weekend to buy PlayStations and TVs and, big purchases that they've been waiting for year round. They don't always think of small businesses on this Cyber Monday. Even though you have that small business Saturday there, that doesn't mean that people are shopping small businesses those days. So making sure that we understand that, this episode is coming out November 4th. That means that already, November 1st has started the holiday season, that through this holiday season, it's not just these 5 days that you can really optimize. So yes, Black Friday is absolutely important. It truly is the Super Bowl. Many people are shopping. You might as well do something, but there are some key pieces that we want to understand. This is not the only weekend to push sales. This should not be the only promo that you do. This is the noisiest weekend of the year for sales, so you have to be louder, and you still should do something this weekend, even though the 80% versus the 22% statistic that I just shared is still there, because some people will still buy from you. realizing you don't have to if you don't want to. I have some customers that say, I want to be very present during that week. Can I do it the week before? Can I adjust when this happens? I also want to say, make this your simplest sale of the year because there's so many other things going on. This can be a simple sale, not only for the consumer, but for you. This doesn't mean you need to reinvent the wheel. This doesn't mean you need to launch a whole bunch of stuff. I wouldn't even launch really anything during the holiday season. It's so noisy. It's not going to work that well unless you have limited edition products or something, of course. But really auditing all of those things. Looking at this, some action items that I have from you from this episode is what are you going to do today? And what are you going to fulfill? What are on this list are you going to make sure that you do add? This is an episode that was very tangible. It was very tactical. These were a lot of things I wanted you to make sure to recommend. This is why I said to have a to-do list at the beginning of the episode. So not only do you add them to your to-do list, which ones are you doing today? Which ones are you absolutely going to do before this weekend? What do you need to do? What is the most important thing for you to fill before the Black Friday weekend? What does that look like for you? What of these pieces do you think would be the most helpful? Some of the major things that I want to reiterate: email flows are really big this time of year. Use email. Stink and send the emails out. You're not being too salesy. The next thing is that your marketing has to be louder. Show up. Make sure. Another thing is, what can you prep? How can we prep your marketing? How can we prep your website? How can we prep all of this? Having some of those buy now, pay laters. How can you prep your inventory? Making sure that we can check that you can fulfill all of these orders. All of that is going to be incredibly helpful. This would be a great episode to share with a friend because everybody is prepping for Black Friday. You guys can do these things together, as well as this is just a really great checklist. So if you want to share this episode, I would love to meet your friend as well. Make sure that you subscribe if you liked this episode. There's many more to come. Subscribe to this podcast. We put out new episodes every Tuesday and Friday. I love you. I'm rooting for you. I'm in your corner always. I will see you in that next episode. If you found today's episode helpful and are looking for more tangible ways to grow your business, make sure you are subscribed to the show. If you want to dive deeper into this topic more, click the link in the show notes and join our completely free podcast community where we dive into every single podcast topic, as well as give some bonus support and free coaching calls. And finally, if you are interested in getting my eyes on your business to find your hidden opportunities to scale, apply to work with me one-on-one in the show notes or on our website. Remember, it's not enough to listen. Don't forget to implement too. I love ya. I'll see you in the next episode.